All right, we are back on the brink of our last game of the evening, and we had 4 games before us, the last one ending 2-0. First one that ended in 2-0 for the time being, but as we have our 5th and final game of the evening, it is a Protoss versus Zerg matchup, and it is going to be next Garnet versus Czech Prime, and one of these players, at least, quite famous as well in RTS game circles.
Yeah, he's a former, or I don't know if he changed game completely, but he was a former Warcraft 3 pro. He was like Lin, who played earlier today. Very famous, very good player, and I know he's been playing a lot of StarCraft 2. He's like high ranked in the ladder, so I'm expecting good games.
Okay, well, when you look at people that have made the crossover, let's say in RTS games from Warcraft 3 to StarCraft 2 or StarCraft to StarCraft 2, would you say that one has the advantage over the other?
Definitely the people that are coming from StarCraft 1 has an advantage because the game is very similar. The basic idea of how to approach the game, the management style is about the same. I mean, there are some differences, but from a Warcraft 3 gamer, I mean, it's basically what you get from Warcraft 3 is that you have the basic knowledge of what an RTS game is, and you have the mechanics probably so-so, but still you need to focus much more on economy, much more on management, much more on timing windows, whereas in Warcraft 3 it's much more about your heroes, your micro, and yeah, it's a totally different game, to be honest.
Okay, well, we're going to move on to this 5th game in a moment between one of the more famous Warcraft 3 players, that being Czech Prime, and his opponent is going to be a Protoss player. Next Garnet should be an interesting game to look at, and I believe both players are standing by. We're going to take a look. Coming? Okay, well, we're still waiting for word on the match, but let's go back and look. The Sony Ericsson StarCraft 2 GSL Open. We are into the round of 64. This is actually day 3 of the round of 64. So just a little bit more to go before we're into the round of 32 and see some more of these players. Let's look at our players for this 5th and final match of the evening. And this is Min Hyung Hwan, known as Next Garnet. He is a Protoss player. And let's see, he is 25 years of age. The map that he likes the best is Jungle Basin, which is not on our list for today. He loves using Dark Templars. And also, well, like a lot of people, players that he looks up to is Fruit Dealer. Probably nothing new there. His opponent, as we mentioned before, is going to be Czech Prime. He is more well known, perhaps, for his Warcraft 3 achievements, but certainly a player in his own right using the Zerg race. Went to the round of 16 in the GSL Season 1, so he's no slouch when it comes to advancing on in tournaments like this. He has been there before, and it's just a matter of getting back to where he already was. Lee Hyung-ju, Czech Prime, standing by to take on next Garnet. Okay, so there are the players that we've had a look at. I think probably the fan favorite, as well as most people's favorites. If you're a betting man on this, will probably go back to the old school. Someone who's been to the Final 16 before, someone who's played a lot of RTS, who's also played in studio settings before. Czech Prime, I'm sure, has got to be the favorite for most people.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's a solid player. I mean, he's played a lot of games. He's high ranked in the ladder. He came to round of 16 last time. So definitely he's the favorite. And with the Zerg is being really strong this version, so yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at the maps that we're going to be using. First one is going to be Zelnaga Caverns for set number 1. Set 2 is Metalopolis, as set 3 is going to be Lost Temple. Maps that were taken out. Next Garnet wanted Scrap Station and Shakur's Plateau out. Czech Prime deleted Delta Quadrant and Steppes of War. So those are the maps that are going to be used in this Protoss versus Zerg matchup. That's what we just saw a moment ago in game number 4 of the evening as well. Let's talk about the maps that we're going to be using for this. We already saw Metalopolis and Lost Temple. We're going to be seeing Xel'Naga Caverns between these two for the first time, and that will be for the first set.
Yeah, and I mean, Service of Protoss is a very balanced matchup in my opinion, even on most maps. Xel'Naga Caverns, I personally haven't played that much, but I've seen it a lot, and I know that there's a big open, the expansion is very open for harassment, but I mean, that's from both sides. Zerg can run in with speed lanes, Protoss can come in with their strong 4-gate push, and so I think this is a very balanced map for what I know.
Okay, well, let's find out in set number 1. All right, as we take a look down at the 7 o'clock region, next Garnet is our red Protoss player. Well, and he's got certainly a lot of fans here as they're here to check him out. And over on the other side, Check Prime is over at the upper right corner. He is the blue Zerg, and once again, a lot of fans for him as well. All right, so we've seen Metalopolis, we've seen Lost Temple in a PvZ in our previous match, but this is going to be our first look at Xel'Naga Caverns, and both players the Overlord scouting diagonally all the way to the other side. 2-player map, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's a 2-player map. You're not going to see anything exciting. Czech is so good. Is a good player, solid player, so he knows he's going to fast. I know he's going to fast expand because he knows that's totally safe opening on this map. And I'm guessing the Protoss is going to go 1-gate core into expansion. I will believe either that or he'll do a 4-gate. But I think he'll go core gate expansion, gate core expansion. This match.
StarCraft 1 in a Protoss versus Zerg, you usually see Protoss expand as well to a fast Nexus, or sometimes say Forge and then Cannon Nexus or Forge Nexus. But don't really see that as much in StarCraft 2. Is it more common to go with a core?
Yeah, because in StarCraft 2 there are more options for a Protoss when the core is finished. What was very popular back in the beta days, the early games, was to just go straight up work gate tech, get 4 gates, make a proxy pylon and just push the Zerg while they were vulnerable after fast expansion, but they didn't have enough units to defend because the gateway units of the Protoss is very strong against both Zerglings and Roaches. But lately people have been adapting and they know that the Zerg is fast expanding, so one popular opening has been actually go 1 gate, 1 Forge and do a proxy cannon rush with Zealots when the Zerg is fast expanding, and that is very hard to defend on certain maps, certain spawn positions. But on this map, I think because you 2-player map, the distance is pretty far, you're going to see pretty standard play from both of them.
The infamous cheese cannon rush. Oh boy. Well, Cybernet's core is done. One zealot out to cut off the choke point, making sure that nothing else is going to get in. Doesn't really matter for Check Prime, however, as an Overlord is almost right at the base. He's going to take a look at what is going on in that base of next Garnet. And Sentry on the way. Another gateway being added by Garnet. Just giving a little game of tag here. Probes being chased away. Robotics facility in there for Garnet. Zealot is guarding the entranceway. Gatekeeper says no to the Zerglings.
This could be either a timing push with Immortals, or nah. I think this is gonna be he's gonna try to do a timing push with two gateway, three gateway plus a robotics, but he's gonna be scouted now.
And Czech sacrifices an Overlord to get the necessary information.
That was definitely worth the sacrifice. Seeing that he has two gateways and robotics, this gives a lot of good intel for his Zerg there.
There's another gateway, robotics bay underway. Are we looking at a Colossus coming then?
Yeah, of course it's going to be a Colossus. 3 gates, Colossus. From one base. I don't know if I like this play. I'm not a certain Protoss player myself, but I find that this is a little bit too all-in-ish. If your first attack fails, it's pretty much over. And the Zerg that has just scouted you knows about this. He's seen the robotics. He's seen your gateway count. He probably knows your strategy and will prepare for it. And knows that if he survives this, no scouts, no expansion. So he just needs to survive this strong attack, and he knows he has the game wrapped up.
So if you know that he's going with the Colossus, what's your strategy as a Zerg to defend that?
Well, you can't know for sure that he's going Colossus, but just make a bunch of
If you were to know.
Yeah, just make a bunch of units like Roaches and Hydra. Especially know that the Roaches got a buff. Actually, a Roaches Hydra combination is viable, because now the Roaches is not only meat shield, it actually can fire back before they die. So I think he'll go for a mass Roach Hydra or mass Roach Hydra.
Well, indeed, Roaches are complete and coming out in numbers for Czech, as you mentioned. Meanwhile, Stalkers, Sentry, and Zealots there for Garnet. As we take a look, Overseer as well for Czech.
Czech, the only reason why he does this with the Zerglings is just to see the Nexus timing, and he sees there is no Nexus. So he knows that this is like gonna be a strong push coming soon, and can prepare for it. I mean, look, if you look at the bases, he only has 2 geysers up. That means he needs a lot of minerals for his Roaches. He needs a big army right now, and he knows it.
And 2 Colossus on the way, and a little bit of harassment going after the pylon. Gets the pylon. Those Zerglings might be better served back home now, though, and wisely he heads back in. Here is the push. Zerglings from the backside. Plenty of Roaches there as well from both sides. Sentry puts up a shield as well, force field. And pretty much just left with the Colossus there. A few more Stalkers underneath. Queen comes out to help. Zerglings there as well. And both of the Colossus are down, as that is going to force Garnet to retreat.
It's GG.
And that's the question, is that all in? It certainly looks like it, and as you mentioned, does he have another option after this? And looking at his base, well, looking at these Zerglings and units heading down to his base anyways, I don't know if there's going to be much there. A couple of Stalkers and a Zealot at the choke point, but Roaches, let's see how much damage they can do. Yep, they're going to be able to get in there, and this is probably going to be GG, as you mentioned.
Yeah, he skipped the Hydras because he knew that he needed an army faster, and getting Hydras required him to get more gas.
And there is the GG. So Czech goes on to take this first set, and I might add rather easily. A little bit disappointing. I think you were mentioning that exactly, that you would have liked to have seen him go with a different strategy that might have had a way out. perhaps another option, but he went for basically what was an all-in push, and obviously Czech knew that it was coming.
This is kind of the problem for some Korean players. And they are really good at practicing routine strategy, and they are mechanically very good. But they practice certain strategy, and if that strategy doesn't work, they have no other alternative because they have only practiced this one. Like, this attack is going to work or not, I'm going to lose. And they have no way of adapting. And, I mean, he got scouted very early, even before the robotics was finished. He knew that Czech knew that he was going robotics. He knew that Czech knew that he had 2 gateways. And, I mean, that's about the time where I would be thinking, like, okay, this is not going to work doing what I originally thought, so I might have to change this out, you know?
Yeah. Okay, well, there's the story in set number 1. Let's see if there's any difference in set number 2.